This is Dining Out with Ryan Sutton. I'm Charlie Pellett, and today we take you to Del Frisco's. It is a Manhattan steakhouse, a New York steakhouse in Midtown Manhattan. Ryan, tell us about the concept, because this is a national chain.
It is a national chain. It started in its modern incarnation in Dallas. I believe it's owned by Lone Star Funds, a hedge fund in Dallas, and it is, at least the New York location, is the highest grossing steakhouse in America, or at least it was in 2010. It earned, or it grossed, just shy of $34 million last year, which is a lot of money. And that's good for them, not necessarily good for us, because the quality of the steakhouse isn't that good. One of the highest grossing chains in the country, but not one of the best steakhouses. And that's unfortunate, of course, because the steaks cost a lot of money. When I did an average of the red meats at this venue, including the lamb chops, it's around $55. That includes a couple of outliers. It includes a $36 or so beef medallion, which is one of the cheaper dishes. It also includes, on the higher side, an $89.95, i.e. $90 Wagyu ribeye. $90 for a single steak. You believe that?
Those are big numbers, and I want to talk a little bit more about what you are getting for those big numbers in a moment. Before we get to the food, though, tell me a little bit more about the space, because this, as you point out in your review, this is a big restaurant.
It is. It's 550 seats. Without a doubt, one of the larger restaurants in Manhattan. It's in the McGraw-Hill building, just in or just off of Rockefeller Center. You walk in, you sit at the bar, you ask for a cocktail list, and inevitably, almost inevitably, you are pitched with a pineapple martini. It is their signature drink. It is available at all 8 or 9 locations of Del Frisco's nationwide. I say 8 or 9 because the last one hasn't yet opened. It will open in Boston, I believe, in mid-April. So you're pitched a pineapple martini. Now, imagine walking to a steakhouse. You can walk into Minetta Tavern, you can walk into Strip House, two of the best steakhouses in New York, even Keen's, one of my favorite steakhouses. You will not be pitched a pineapple martini, but you will be pitched a pineapple martini here. And as I said, you can order the same exact drink anywhere in the country at Del Frisco's. I think it costs around $12 or $13 in Texas. It costs a little bit more in Manhattan. It costs $16. It is Stoli orange vodka infused with pineapple. It tastes awful. It is the equivalent of a drink you'd get, at a college party. It is simultaneously too sweet and too strong. No acid balance. Just another way of saying, when you drink it, it causes that slightly cloying sensation, slightly nauseous sensation. It's an awful drink. It feels like it's 10 ounces, so you're getting your money's worth, I suppose, if this is the sort of thing you like, but if you don't, you're not getting your money's worth. So again, that's their signature pitch, their signature drink, and it should be avoided at all costs.
All right, well, on now to the food, and in your review, it's a dual-edged complaint. Price and quality, you were not happy. What did you have?
I had as much as I could on the menu. I tried almost all the steaks. Let's take a lobster. The standard rule is that you should never order steak at a seafood restaurant, but you can always order seafood at a steakhouse. My colleague Alan Richmond once said that, and I, generally speaking, believe with him. That's not the case here, because you should not order the lobster tail here. Their cheapest lobster tail in a recent visit was $96. That's over $100 with tax. The lobster tail is about the size of a fork. It was overcooked to the point that it tasted like carpet. It was actually more difficult to cut than our porterhouse. Imagine an entree that cost $100 that you can actually barely eat. It was awful. What else was there? Of course, the $90 Wagyu ribeye. A Japanese Wagyu is known for having spider-like marbling. It's almost as if it's fat that just happens to have a little beef with it that melts in the mouth beautifully. This is American Wagyu, which will never be as marbled, but I've had some life-changing, beautiful American Wagyu steaks at restaurants like Kraft. It's just such a beautiful, rich cut. Not here at Del Frisco's, where the $90 cut tastes pretty much identical to a lot of the other steaks here. The cheaper $60 steaks, if I can say cheaper and apply to the word $60 steak. To refer to the $60 steaks in themselves, the problem is that they have very little flavor. It's like eating at the Outback here. These steaks provide a hint of beefiness, and then following that hint of beefiness is essentially like eating textured salt water, which is essentially what you're gonna have when you have any poorly aged corn-fed steak from the Midwest, and they're particularly poor at doing it here.
Well, Ryan, at these price points, $60 and $90, what comes on the side?
On the side, you have some decent enough sides. You have cream spinach, tastes like any other cream spinach. You have mashed potatoes, which are all right. You can get cauliflower with brie, which is tastes exactly as it sounds, which is to say nasty. The cauliflower is overcooked, and it's like eating raw cauliflower coated in brie. We also had a test item that they haven't yet debuted on the menu. It was a special one night. It was grits with a seafood sauce. I strongly recommend you do not get it. It was a lumpy, gritty grit, and I can assure you I'm a connoisseur of fine Texas grits. And just to be certain, I'm not against Texas. I'm not against the Southwest. Some of the finest members of my extended family live in Texas. I have fond memories from my meals and my times I spent in Dallas in their great district of Deep Ellum. But this to me is kind of like a false representative for Texas, just as the Outback Steakhouse is a false representative for Australia. It's not what you get there. Texas is about something greater. Del Frisco Steakhouse is about something less. It's about paying too much for a good that's not worth it.
All right. Ryan Sutton, we'll leave it there. Dining Out with Ryan Sutton, I'm Charlie Pellett.